I and Taylor have been tormenting each other for nearly 10 years. She flagrantly paraded one person after another. Everywhere, as if to show off. And I tightly held onto the majority of her assets, refusing to let go. We each held the other's fatal weakness. Neither willing to yield. But today I am preparing to divorce her. Because I am about to die. I looked at the diagnostic report in my hand. And finally managed to call Taylor. Where are you? What does that matter? We are husband and wife. But even the right to care about each other's whereabouts was viewed as an imposition. I returned home, banged on the table, and said, "Let's divorce." She scoffed on the other end and hung up. This is a trick I've used too many times. Mostly just an excuse to see her once. It's understandable that she didn't believe it. I waited 2 days, but she didn't return. Looking at the paper marking the end of my life. I didn't want to waste even a second more. I grabbed my bag and left. To find Taylor. There is one method I've tried many times that never fails: knocking on the door. Boom boom. I gently knocked hard on the door in front of me. A handsome young man appeared before my eyes. Mr. David. His eyes were filled with panic. As if my mere presence behind the door could tear him apart. I widened my eyes, and said to him, "Hey, tell Taylor to come home. And tell her I want a divorce. You must convey to her lovers that I rate them as number one. When we divorce, who knows, one of them might become the son-in-law of the Cruz family." The young man's eyes reddened. "Mr. David, I never intended to." I sighed, interrupting. "Don't make me sick. Tell her, if she still doesn't come home tomorrow, I will break into your house, smash your room to pieces. Do you think a cheap doorbell can stop me?" I didn't want to say much more, and turned away. If nothing unexpected happens, I will definitely meet Taylor tonight. She cherishes James the most. If I go cause trouble for him, how could Taylor tolerate it? As night fell, she rushed in front of me, full of anger. "I told you not to go looking for James again," she growled. I leisurely poured a glass of white wine, looked at her and said, "Why should I listen to you? What do you want to do to me?" Taylor was so angry she couldn't do anything more, but said the things I didn't want to hear. "I don't understand what you mean. James is well behaved enough. There is no longer any affection between us. Yet you refuse to divorce. And won't even let me keep a person important to me by my side. Do you want everyone to be as lonely as you?" I threw the wine glass down, it shattered. "You're right, I am lonely. That's why I clung to you all these years. It's clear there's no affection left between us. Yet you still refuse to divorce. That's right, I'm in hell. So how can you go to heaven?" I tilted my head to look at Taylor. Still refusing to back down and argue, but my heart was weary. These past few years, whenever I met Taylor, we clashed. What's so interesting about that? I poured another glass of wine, sat down opposite her, and placed the divorce agreement in front of her. "Let's just stop. Even if I go to hell, I don't want to see you there again. We couldn't stand each other alive. Don't annoy me after death." Taylor's face was cold. She flipped through the agreement and read it. Despite her somewhat cheap appearance, she was still beautiful. "What else do you want?" She stared at me warily. I laughed coldly. "I'm only taking this house, the rest is yours. I waive all claims to joint property. Do you see?" Perhaps I was asking for too much. She seemed uneasy. I continued. "This house is our wedding house. Although it's old, it wouldn't sell for much. But I really don't want to see another man living there with you. I'm jealous. I don't want you to be intimate with others. Even without much money. Buying a place with good Chicago will do. Living well while alive, passing peacefully when dead. I came with nothing, and I leave with nothing. It's easier on the heart." Taylor scrutinized the agreement, flipping through it several times, and finally said, "I'll have my lawyer draft you a new one. The house is yours, and I'll give you an extra 10 million. We will be completely done." I raised an eyebrow. She was truly generous. 10 million could easily buy back our 10 years of feeling. "Your lawyer, my lawyer. If you don't trust your lawyer, why should I trust mine?" Seeing this, I no longer wanted to talk nicely to Taylor. Even when intending to grant her freedom, I still couldn't resist a few sarcastic remarks. My heart felt lighter. I lowered my voice. "All right, I agree." Taylor took the agreement and headed towards the door to wait. My assistant will bring the agreement tomorrow. You should sign it right away. Taylor has been waiting for this day for too long. Perhaps tonight she will call her lawyer to discuss whether I'm pulling a trick. I just said it briefly. The sooner the better. Taylor still looked at me with cold eyes. I hope after you receive the money, you will leave room C. We both deserve to have our own lives, right? My heart still couldn't help but feel bitter. I quickly pushed her out. Locked the door behind her, out of sight, out of mind. Taylor's assistant was indeed highly paid. When handing me the agreement, she still politely called me Mr. David. Everyone in the company knew about Taylor and me constantly arguing. James even ostentatiously brought her loving lunchboxes right to her workplace. Taylor was also shrewd. To deliberately annoy me, she actually arranged for James to work at the company, placing him directly under me. But soon after, he returned home. Taylor began to want to divorce me. I stopped going to the company. Very few people still called me Mr. David. The girl in front of me was the only one. I opened the agreement and signed the last page. Mr. David may review it again. Review what? There's nothing to review. I smiled, pushing the agreement back towards her. Pass it on to Taylor. Come to the Civil Affairs office in 1 month. Tell her not to be late. Don't waste the last of my time. The secretary politely bowed and left. We walked out the door together. Taylor didn't want me to stay in room C. And I didn't want to be there either. In the end, it's back to the roots, I thought, wanting to return to my hometown. The journey was smooth. I arrived at the place. Standing on the land of my hometown, I realized it had been nearly a year since I last returned. I went to the cemetery first. Mom, Dad, grandparents, I've come to visit. Taylor was right. I am truly lonely. I sat down leaning against the tombstone. My parents died in an accident when I was young. After graduating from college, my grandparents passed away one after another. I buried them close together, finding it convenient for visiting. I also bought a small plot for myself nearby. Partly because I miss them, and partly because the location has good Chicago. I didn't sit for long. Early winter had already started to turn cold. Snowflakes fluttered down, and my feet felt numb. All right, I'm going back first. We will meet again soon. Then I'll know exactly what Taylor and that jerk have been up to all these years. I hastily dusted off my coat and turned away. It was exactly time for school dismissal. I passed by the high school and stopped. Students in uniform were smiling. School days, holidays are always the happiest, even if just the weekend. I stood outside the gate for quite a while before stepping into the school. Hey, what are you doing? The gate guard blocked me. I'm in a hurry, the teacher called a parent in. I quickly said, my voice slightly urgent. Perhaps because my eyes were red, or because the acting was quite real. The uncle finally let me through. I exhaled softly, strolling leisurely through the schoolyard. Students were sweeping. A few mischievous boys threw a snowball at a girl's chest. The girl chased after them with a broom. Everyone laughed uproariously. Watching them, I vaguely saw a glimpse of myself in my teenage years, with that person from the past. I shook my head, walked into the classroom block, following my memory and finding class 12A5 still on the first floor. The classroom was deserted. I gently pulled the door latch. Click, the door opened. Step by step, I walked into the room. As if I could catch old memories through the stale air. I counted the seats, sat down in my old spot, and buried my head in my arms. 1, 2, 3 inches. That was a trick from school days. Just count to 3. And Taylor would appear before my eyes. I looked up. A fair-faced young girl stood by my desk, reaching out her hand. David, let's go home. In that moment, the brilliant sunset bathed her like a layer of gold. 1, 2, 3 inches, I opened my eyes. The dream shattered before me. I sighed, driving away the unwarranted illusions in my heart. Standing up, I walked out. Before leaving, I looked back one last time. In the silence, the young man smiled, holding the girl's hand. And then everything burst like a bubble. Everything belonged to the past. Irreversible. I stayed here for 1 month. Winter arrives earlier here. Stepping onto the city ground, I rarely feel a slight warmth. Why are you so late coming back? Taylor seemed unhappy. I yawned, glanced at her, and walked in. Why are you bringing the lover along for the divorce? I scoffed. I saw James standing timidly behind her, his hesitant demeanor annoying me. Taylor's voice was sharp. Speak politely. James isn't feeling well today. I'm taking him to the hospital later. I clenched my hand, feeling even more uneasy. Yeah, all right, take him for a checkup. I'm not in a hurry. You can take your time. Taylor grabbed my arm. David, speak quickly. Don't cause trouble. I stood still in the crowded area. Taylor yelled. Are you still forcing me? Aren't you ashamed in public? James behind her started whimpering, moaning. Don't fight, don't fight. I felt nauseous in my chest. Taylor, if you hadn't treated me so badly, I would have been ready to finalize the divorce immediately. Now, either you knock me out and drag me along to play your games, or you disappear. Taylor's face turned purple like a pig's liver, her eyes looking at me with hatred. Then she dragged James away. The grievance in my chest did not subside. After thinking for a moment, I conveniently bought a baseball bat nearby. I held the baseball bat, shaking it slightly in my hand and finding it quite satisfactory, and immediately took a cab to Taylor's apartment. I called a locksmith, then called the building management. Who is the owner of this apartment? The manager politely replied. It is Miss Taylor. I smiled, presenting my marriage registration certificate. This is our joint marital property. Please help me open the door. The locksmith worked very fast, opening it in just a moment. I told them to leave, then walked straight in. Taylor really liked taking photos with me. Even though we weren't very harmonious, we had many pictures together. After graduation, Taylor got busy with work, so we gradually had fewer photos together. First, we slept back to back, then in separate rooms, then gradually lived separately. That's when I realized we had truly cracked, because Taylor started bringing other men to her apartment. I walked a circle around the house, unconsciously knocking over and breaking the purple jade sword. It was something my grandmother loved when she was alive, so she bought it to give to Taylor. But life is impermanent. My grandmother did not survive that winter. I once didn't understand why I couldn't find it. It turned out Taylor had given it to her lover. I no longer hesitated, swinging the bat hard in my hand. The sound, whoosh whoosh, echoed repeatedly. Everything in the house was smashed by me. Perhaps I was too forceful. I felt a liquid drip onto the floor. Looking down, it turned out to be my blood. I tilted my head back, wiped away the blood from my nose, then looked down, meeting Taylor's astonished and furious eyes. Our eyes met. I only felt nauseous. Listen, don't call my name, I said coldly, then pointed the head of the baseball bat at her chest. Tomorrow, we meet in court. I consider this anger vented. I don't want to endure this marriage for one more day. Taylor faintly smiled. David, you think I'm scared? I've been enduring you for a long time too. She lunged, pushing me hard against the wall. My head hit the partition, and my nose started bleeding again. I looked up, pushing her back. What is wrong with you? Taylor's hand slightly loosened. I took a step back, rested the bat on my shoulder, and said calmly, keep this anger, and share it with your little lover. Taylor, I've endured enough of you too. Let's divorce. You go your way. I'll go my own lonely path. Let's not meet again in this life, nor the next. It really hurt. It hurt so much I no longer felt anything. After the lesson last time, Taylor came alone the next day. We didn't exchange a word, just silently signed our names. The seal was stamped. The divorce paper was officially granted. Taylor didn't say another word, turned and walked away, never looking back. I looked at her retreating figure for a long time, suddenly remembering a distant winter. She once put a hand warmer in my hand, saying, David, you go ahead, I will watch you leave. That hand, that look, was so warm that for many winter nights afterward, I never felt cold. I let out a long sigh, then got into the car and left the city. Taylor, I guess we won't meet again. I was hospitalized and started treatment, but I didn't pay much attention. The young intern nurse, Selena, stood with her hands on her hips, scolding me. Bed number 18, did you secretly pull out the needle again? I shrugged, obediently letting her scold me. You don't want to get better anymore? I rolled my eyes, half jokingly, half seriously. I just feel too cold. Can you give me a small hand warmer? Selena was skeptical, but still angrily brought over a small, cute hand warmer. Don't secretly pull out the needle again. She leaned down to instruct. Aren't you in pain? I looked into her eyes, suddenly feeling a sting in my nose. It's been so long, no one has asked me, are you in pain, anymore. The people who once cared about me are no longer in this world. No pain, no pain. Thank you, Nurse Selena. Saying no pain was a lie. In less than half a month, my arm had been jabbed numb. At night, unable to sleep due to the pain, I pulled the IV pole to go for a walk. In the duty room, only Selena was sitting. She was wiping away tears. I lightly tapped the table. What's wrong? She looked up in a panic, looked around, and quietly asked, why aren't you sleeping? I can't sleep. Just came out for a walk. Selena looked at my complexion, reaching out to touch my forehead. Are you in pain? I was about to say no, but somehow nodded instead. She waved her hand. Come here. I walked in, sat next to her, ate a piece of sickeningly sweet bread with her, and we watched a melodramatic, cheesy TV series together, using up an entire pack of tissues. It wasn't until dawn broke that she urged me back to my room. Next time, remember to wait for me to watch together. You're not allowed to watch ahead. I smiled and nodded. Okay, I'll wait for you. After watching the show with Selena 3 times like that, one night, I received a call from Taylor. David, where are you? I raised an eyebrow, my voice indifferent. What business is that of yours? When we were still married, you had no right to ask such things. Now that we are divorced, even less so. The other end was clearly left speechless by me. Then abruptly hung up. My good mood vanished in an instant. I angrily put her number straight into the blacklist. At that moment, Nurse Selena was waiting for me to watch a film together. She gently asked, is that a family member? I waved my hand. No, I have no family. They are all dead. Selena pointed at the phone. Then what about this person? I glanced at the screen, thought for a moment before replying. She is just an unpleasant person. Very unpleasant. Just one phone call. It didn't create a ripple in my life. I remained the same, sleeping and undergoing treatment during the day, strolling around the hospital at night. If it was Selena's shift, I would sit with her to watch TV series. But cunning people never appeared just once. A week later, I received a text message from an unknown number. Did you block me? I blocked that number immediately. Taylor must have earned some money lately. Spoiled by someone. She maintains that attitude of not giving up until she achieves what she wants. I rarely got a good night's sleep, only to be woken up by a string of consecutive calls from her. Forgetting she was once a pampered young lady, I was annoyed, my voice lazy, my eyes not quite open yet. Aren't you home? Taylor's voice echoed through the phone. David. I tried to suppress my irritation, still maintaining a patient tone to ask. What is it? Which card should I transfer the money to? Any card will do. Is such a small matter worth a call? David, please don't hang up. I pulled the phone closer, growling. If you have something to say it quickly, or stop babbling. Why aren't you at home? Her voice sounded again. I was slightly stunned, then instinctively asked, are you at my house? I warned her coldly. I advise you to get out of there quickly. I have handed that house over to a real estate agent to sell. Someone might come to view it soon. Get out immediately, don't obstruct my money-making path. You're going to sell that house? Her voice was sharp, almost a yell. I suppressed a hint of annoyance. Of course. Unless you expect me to keep displaying those rotten memories? David. I told you to talk less. Get out of there right now. Where are you? Taylor's voice this time was distinctly serious. Where I am is none of your business. I lost patience, hung up, then blocked, deleted, thoroughly cleared her numbers. Afterward, I couldn't fall back asleep. I stayed awake until morning, cursing Taylor 10,000 times internally. Despite the annoyance, I was still dragged to treatment by Selena in the morning as usual. Returning to my hometown, it was unavoidable to run into old acquaintances. David, long time no see. The person who called me was Peter, my best friend from high school. That day, with Selena's permission to go out, I rarely had a bit of freedom, and chose to go eat hot pot. Are you living well these days? He asked cautiously. I smiled. Tolerable. I have money. It's just a pity my life won't last long. The chopsticks in Peter's hand trembled. He looked up at me, stunned. I focused only on picking up a piece of meat and putting it in my mouth. And when I looked up, I saw his tears splattering onto the table. Hey, what's wrong? I quickly pulled out 2 tissues, awkwardly handing them to him. What kind of illness? I waved my hand. An incurable one. It's okay, I won't die right away. Looking out the window, I said slowly. I want to die on a beautiful sunny day. Winter is too cold. Peter. Are you and Alice still together? Hearing me mention that name, Peter's eyes darkened, and he said quietly, yes, still fine. I didn't offer any more advice. Not everyone needs to have an epiphany. In life, enjoy whatever days you have. As I left the restaurant, I stepped onto the cold concrete and turned back to say, can I ask you for a favor? Tell me. Don't tell anyone you met me. If you have time, just come visit me occasionally. Perhaps due to the cold wind. Peter's eyes were red. Doesn't Taylor know about this? No. We divorced. She doesn't need to know. Peter was silent. We looked into the distance together. The cold wind whistling past the rows of houses. The good days of youth had all vanished like smoke. Returning to the hospital room, I was scolded by Selena for not adhering to my diet. I listened obediently, promising not to re-offend in the future. But she still wouldn't relent, picking up scissors intending to cut my hair. I held my head tightly, not allowing it. We argued for 2 whole days. I only went out for 1 meal. I won't go again in the future. Why cut my hair? Selena spoke sternly. You're about to undergo chemotherapy. You will lose your hair. Cutting it short beforehand will make it easier. I pondered for a moment, and asked quietly, can I not have chemotherapy? She immediately became angry. I quickly smiled to soothe her. All right, I'll reconsider. She was about to say more, when a small figure walked in, heading straight to stand in front of me. Who are you looking for? Selena asked. The person didn't reply, just stared coldly at me, as if trying to pry something out of my eyes. I subtly tilted my head, looked at Selena. Just leave her be. Go do your work, spare my hair. Selena frowned as she looked at the woman, then glanced at me, and said softly, call me if anything happens. I nodded, seeing her out, then turned to look at Taylor. Aren't you supposed to welcome the new year with James? Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year. James always had enough excuses to invite Taylor to go with him. For a time, I hated all those holidays, because they only made me feel lonelier. Later, I got used to it. I felt fine being alone. She appeared again, annoyed, and asked, what trick is this of yours now? My heart clenched. It turned out that even after getting used to the dagger wrapped in sweetness, each time it was cut open, it still hurt just the same. I sighed, and said softly, that's right, this is my new trick. Don't fall for it. Go on, hurry up. You're coming with me, she said, grabbing my wrist and pulling me away. I didn't have time to react, and was dragged a few steps. Let go, I growled, forcefully shaking off her hand. Dash. We have nothing to do with each other anymore. Understand? What are you doing here? Taylor stepped back 2 paces, and said with a cold demeanor, don't hope to use the excuse of illness to extort more money from me. We are already divorced. I took a sharp breath, feeling as if the blood in my heart had stopped flowing, numbness spreading through my body. I didn't want to say another word to her. Just pulled her outside. Get lost. Take your money. And your lover. Get out of my sight. The last sentence, I almost shouted. Taylor bit her lip hard, her face pale, then turned and slammed the door shut, walking straight away. Nurse Selena worriedly opened the door and walked in. Are you all right? I asked with a pale face. If I say I'm not okay, can I skip the IV drip? No. Then I'm fine. Since that time, Taylor did not appear in front of me again. I lived peacefully for another week. Peter often visited, although we spoke little, afraid that even one sentence might touch an old wound. But we maintained civility. I often asked him to secretly bring me some snacks, But every time, Nurse Selena would find them and confiscate them all. I could only choke up, speechless. The new year was getting closer. Nurse Selena smiled and said to me, "The weather is getting colder." A folk saying about the coldest days of the year. As I exhaled a white mist, I counted the days when going out for fresh air. I also kept track of the time to return to my room promptly. Otherwise, I would be scolded by the nurse. Turning around a bit too quickly, I bumped into someone. Feeling dizzy, I quickly said, sorry," while rubbing my forehead and intending to walk away. I was pulled back by a hand. It was Taylor. If the weather hadn't been so cold, I might have slapped her. "What do you want?" I glared straight at her. She no longer looked as glamorous as before. Her hair was messy, her face haggard. "What's wrong? Only a few days after the divorce. Are you already bankrupt? Was your lover dumped?" I gave a faint, sarcastic laugh. Strangely, Taylor didn't retort. Just stood still, staring intensely at me. That gaze sent shivers down my spine. I glared at her, then turned to walk back into the room. "David." I jumped, taking a few steps back. "What are you doing?" It had been a very long time since she called me by that name. The unfamiliar tone made my heart flutter. She was a little embarrassed, and whispered, "You're sick, why didn't you tell me?" My head was full of question marks. "What does that have to do with you?" We were silent for a long time. Finally, she said, "We were husband and wife, after all." I laughed coldly. "Stop it. Don't mention those two words again. The biggest regret of my life was ever having feelings for you. Let's stick to the original agreement. I leave here. You live your own life. Don't bother me anymore." I turned and walked away. Taylor didn't chase after me, but remained standing there, her eyes following my back. I don't know if it was because I saw her frequently that I couldn't sleep that night again. Early the next morning, I checked the schedule. Today was Nurse Selena's shift. I put on my coat and went out for a walk. Just opening the door, when I saw someone huddled on the stone bench next to the door. I was startled. Approached to clearly see the person's face under the moonlight. It was Taylor. I didn't bother with courtesy, kicking the bench. "What are you doing here?" She woke up groggily, not angry. Just looked at me and asked, "Why are you going out? Are you unwell?" I coldly snorted, "No, I'm very well. As long as you disappear from my sight." She touched her face and said softly, "I'm not going anywhere. It took me a lot of effort to find you." "Find me for what?" Taylor didn't say. I didn't want to argue, growling, "Leave immediately, or I'll call someone to chase you away." After saying that, I turned on my heel and left, happily entering the room to watch a film with Nurse Selena. During the commercial break, Selena leaned in and whispered to me, "That person stood outside your room door for a long time, watching you, but didn't come in." I guessed that when I took my afternoon nap, I had chased her away, and thought she had left. But she came back. Terrible. Ignore her, she'll get bored and leave eventually. Her house is warm. Her company is thriving. Only I am left with this cold room. Taylor, a person who only thinks of herself, won't stay along. Nurse Selena continued. She came to ask to see your medical records. I frowned. I didn't give permission, but perhaps someone else did. She said, "She is your wife." I immediately became furious. "This is a misunderstanding," I said. "It needs to be clarified. We are ex-husband and ex-wife. We are former partners." I really didn't know if she came to see me out of concern, or just to reclaim the portion of assets I gave her. Nurse Selena immediately became alert, looking suspiciously behind me. "What are you doing?" I turned my head, and was nearly scared into a heart attack. Taylor was standing right behind me, her expression cold. "I am not here for money." I tilted my head up, looking at the ceiling, sighing. If not for money, then what else could it be for? Finally, I pulled Taylor back into the hospital room, sat cross-legged on the bed, and looked at her, saying, "All right, consider it your win. What do you want me to do? How much money do you need? Speak." Taylor remained silent, tucking my hand back under the blanket, then held the IV tube, smiling. "Sleep for a bit. Don't be like this." I waved my hand. "How about this? You draft the transfer contract. I'll sign it and you leave, okay? Taylor gritted her teeth, glaring at me. David, that mouth of yours will kill me with anger sooner or later. I replied coldly. Sorry, I'll probably die before you. Outside, the rain was like cutting knives. Taylor shed tears. Ha ha ha. I'm not even dead yet. And you're already putting on this crocodile tears act of false righteousness? I raised my hand and waved it in front of her, only feeling more choked up inside. David, I regret it. Can you please stop scaring me? Taylor's eyes were red, reaching out to link my pinky finger. After all these years, she still clearly remembers the way to soften my heart the most. Back when we were students, every time she made me angry, she just needed to sit opposite me, lower her head, and use a soft voice to call. David, David, please don't be angry anymore. David is the best. I like David the most. Please don't be angry, okay? Get lost. I was furious, jumping up and kicking her. I hate it the most when she pretends to still be the 18-year-old girl, acting pitiful to make me give in. And every time I forgive her, she uses those same eyes to hurt me again. And I hate myself for always being so soft-hearted. Taylor looked defeated, stood up, and said softly, I'll wait outside the door. If you want to see me, just call, okay? Get out. Stay another second, and I'll burst into tears. Why wouldn't I want to see her? It's just that even if I wanted to, I could never see the Taylor of 18 again. Now she is 28. I dare not, and do not want to think about it. Nurse Selena was about to return home for the New Year holiday. She kindly instructed me. Remember to take your medicine on time. Don't mess with the IV tube. And don't go out without permission. I obediently nodded. Don't worry. I will take my medicine. I won't pull out the IV needle. And I won't run around. Selena smiled in satisfaction. I slumped on the table and asked quietly, Can I have more painkillers prescribed? It hurts so much at night. Selena shook her head, then lowered her voice. If not, let that person in. Let her stay with you. It is the new year, after all. I immediately said. It's precisely because she's standing outside that I'm feeling uncomfortable. Just thinking about it hurts. On New Year's Eve, Taylor was no longer standing outside the hospital room. I didn't bother with it. Just walked around for a bit and returned to watch TV. Firecrackers popped outside the window. I stood by the window pane, trying to find a bit of New Year spirit for myself. David, Happy New Year. Taylor appeared, her eyes curved, holding a cake, the candlelight flickering in her eyes. David, make a wish. She pushed the cake toward me, her voice full of excitement. I leaned against the door, not stepping closer. Just looked at her with an inscrutable look. Taylor, you are truly thoughtless. I blew out the candle and said slowly. 2 years ago, on New Year's Eve, I said I felt lonely and wanted you to stay with me. You came back. But at 11 p.m., you said you had to leave. You claimed you had a big project, a partner, that your boss wasn't taking a break so you had to go to work. Work. Ha ha ha. I heard everything then. James said he was scared and wanted you to stay by his side. I crossed my arms over my chest, leaning against the doorframe, my voice flat. That night, I celebrated the new year alone. That winter was bone-chillingly cold. Since then, the new year hasn't meant anything anymore. You forgot, but I didn't. I no longer look forward to the new year. And there won't be another new year for me anyway. Taylor's hand trembled, as if she were trying to find an excuse to justify herself. But I wasn't interested in listening. I know, he was sick then. It was right for you to go take care of him. My biggest regret is that I didn't see things clearly then. Still foolishly thinking you would come back. If only I had woken up sooner. Maybe now I could still make a wish for this new year. I want to live to be 100 years old. Can you help me? I closed the door, not knowing if I hit her face. Breaking it would be even better. Peter came to visit me, pointing outside. Is that Taylor outside the door? I said sternly. No, it's a nuisance. Peter chuckled softly. Do you really want a haircut? Cut it, Nurse Selena is too busy. Don't bother her. Peter nodded, silently helping me cut my hair. Looking at my reflection in the mirror, I smiled faintly. I really am a patient now. A terminal patient. I started to be unable to walk around much anymore. The pain made me weary. I asked Nurse Selena to find me a caregiver. Just someone quick, neat worker, I'll pay well. She kept her word. And found someone the next day. But the person hadn't even stepped in. When Taylor blocked them. I will take care of you. Her voice was gentle. But her attitude was extremely firm. I was in too much pain to speak. Only offering a weak smile. I'm tired of hearing that sentence. I'm immune to it now. I felt a lump in my throat. It's true, in this entire life. Taylor is my nemesis. Every time I weaken, she goes against my wishes. When the pain subsided a little, I knocked over all the objects, snapping, "Get out." Taylor knelt down, looking at me, and whispered, "David, can we go back to the treatment center?" I tilted my head, smiling faintly. "Taylor, do you understand what terminal stage means? All my treatment is only to prolong my life. I don't want to be cured anymore. Moreover, I also don't want to go back to that city. There are too many memories there that disgust me. How can that be? There will surely be a positive change." I pushed her hand away. What good would a change do? My loved ones are all already beneath the tomb. I just want to go down there to reunite with them. Why do you keep stopping me from reuniting with my family? David, we are family too. Did you forget? Taylor, I suggest you go get your head examined. I think the person who needs treatment might be you. We are divorced. Do I need to hang a banner in front of you for you to remember? I took a deep breath. Then asked, do you have a special affection for sick people? At first, the person you liked wasn't your assistant? He was sick, had to be on IV drip in the hospital. And you immediately started seeing him. Later, James was also in the hospital every few days. That's when I realized. You just like the sick man type, don't you? Taylor's face was pale, she shook her head slightly. I laughed sarcastically. This preference of yours is truly bizarre. Seriously, you should really go get checked again. Just looking at your face makes me feel nauseous now. I'm warning you, don't love me anymore. If you hire a caregiver to look after me again, I will fire them all tomorrow. I won't leave my money for you either. I'll withdraw everything. I'd rather throw it out the window than give you a penny. Taylor's eyes reddened. She placed the basin at my feet, her voice trembling. Do whatever you want. She patted my back while crying. The more I looked, the more disgusted I felt. I vomited everything I had just eaten into the basin. After that incident, Taylor no longer prevented the caregiver from entering the room. Though sometimes she would help the caregivers with chores. I ignored it, treating it as satisfying her bizarre preference. As long as she didn't appear in front of me, it was fine. In February, the caregiver asked for leave to go home to her grandson. I happily agreed. The little one was adorable, I liked him too. Outside the window, fireworks still exploded brilliantly. I leaned against the window frame, looking out. David, it's very cold outside the window. I turned my head and saw Taylor hadn't left yet. She had been here for over a month, sleeping on the long bench in the hallway. At first, Nurse Selena tried to chase her away, but later whispered to me. She waits until you're asleep before sneaking into the room, putting a warm compress on your IV bag. I didn't know what to say, just sighed. Taylor, come out for a walk with me. February, different from every other February. When we were young, every New Year, on this day, Taylor would always secretly run away from home, holding my hand to stroll through the food street behind the school, where I'd use my Lee money to buy her some delicious treats. The Cruz family had great wealth. She always had to hide from social parties, appearing before me in a small, pretty dress like a princess. That was the day I looked forward to the most every year. I once asked her, what if your family doesn't agree to us being together? Taylor smiled radiantly, hugging me gently. David, then we'll run away. Just like now. Later, indeed her mother, Diana Cruz, wanted her to marry someone of equal social standing, not wanting her to marry an orphan like me. But she still resolutely refused. And on one particular night in February that year, Taylor and I left this city together. I forever remember the scene that night on the rocking train. Her head resting on my chest, I only said, I have no family left. Taylor held me tighter, and whispered, David, then we'll create a new family. You have me now, I will be your family. That warm breath. The heart pounding fiercely as if wanting to leap out of her chest. I still clearly remember those vows. Now, the scenery remains, but the person has changed. We did so much for each other. Yet it ended up like this? I thought and thought, but couldn't understand. So I stopped thinking. That one looks delicious. I pointed at the sausage skewer, and said to her, let me buy it for you. No need, I can buy it myself. You stand here, it's too smoky over there. I took a bite with satisfaction, feeling as if I had returned to my youth. Then I had Taylor buy me rock candy, fish balls, and grilled cake. She couldn't hold any more in her hands, so she had to help me take off my fake fingernail. I bit this, chewed that. Very happy. David, she called softly. I glanced at her. If you want to make me happy, go home. David, eat less. Her voice choked up. I looked up, only to see her red-rimmed eyes. Why are you crying? Aren't you waiting here just to see when I'll die? I sighed, and turned to walk away. David, I was wrong. I said I was wrong. Taylor hurriedly ran after me, her voice trembling. Have a little more to eat? No. I was both annoyed and cold, not wanting to let her be happy. Those things aren't good for your health. Don't eat anymore. You want me to die sooner, don't you? Taylor lowered her eyes, seeing that I was about to leave. She reached out to pull my coat hem. David, do you want to eat mixed noodles? The shop behind the street. We went there every year. I looked up, seeing a few groups of young students running past. The wind blowing fiercely. Taylor's skirt hem fluttering slightly. That image matched the memory from many years ago. I nodded softly. Okay. The noodle shop had changed owners. The previous owner of the shop was a chubby guy. Now it has changed to a young couple, looking more approachable and pleasant. But I still missed the old owner. And the taste of the food was different too. They changed a lot, being more creative. But I didn't eat much. And Taylor barely touched her food either. When paying, the young couple called her back. Excuse me, was the food not to your taste? We noticed you two barely ate anything. I waved my hand. No, it's just that I preferred the taste from before. People are the same, once changed, it's changed. What cannot be held onto, cannot be forced. We walked side by side on the way back. Fireworks once again bursting across the sky. I looked at Taylor's face. The one who is loved always has privileges. Make a wish. The fireworks are still exploding. I stopped, sniffed, and looked up at her. Hurry up. Taylor stood on her toes, pressed close to my cheek, looked straight into my eyes, and said slowly, if God can hear me, I wish I could go back to the past. I curled my lip into a faint smile. God heard it. And he told you. A wish that is spoken aloud is no longer effective. God can't hear it. Because I've wished that 1,000 times already. There is no clock that turns back. And no past to return to. The atmosphere today was too peaceful. I accidentally spoke about the old days. That time, I didn't lose it. The corner of Taylor's mouth drooped. It was you who assigned him as my assistant. I was angry. But with a shameless thickness like yours. I wouldn't even touch the unborn child. It was his low-down trick. And yet you actually believed it? The more I spoke, the angrier I got. Slamming the door shut. You are so dirty. I wished that door could hit her dead. Very soon after, I couldn't get out of bed anymore. The doctor asked if I wanted surgery. High risk. But if successful, I could live a few more months. He didn't say the words literally. That's how I interpreted it. I don't want to. You must, Taylor said. I smiled faintly. What she says doesn't count. She no longer has the right to sign my liability waiver. Taylor cried again. I didn't want to look. We had long lost any connection. She couldn't decide for me. And no one else in this world could either. I still didn't let her into the room. So Taylor slept on the hallway bench. Nurse Selena advised me. How about letting her sleep inside? I was startled. You're on my side, aren't you? Selena smiled. Yes, but didn't you secretly tuck a blanket over her? Who attacked first? I had to surrender. But I still didn't let her in. I said to Selena, this is the last thing I can hold on to. If there's one thing I want most before I die, It's to be true to myself. I cannot forgive her. Because doing so would be betraying myself. Taylor couldn't come in. So she started sending flowers every day. My favorite was white roses. She sent a large bouquet every day. I admired them for a long time, smiling faintly, and said to Peter Parker, "Later, when you visit my grave, bring this type of flower. I don't like white chrysanthemums." Peter paused for a moment and then said, "Okay." The next day, Taylor switched to sending red roses. I thought, great. Peter is clearly Taylor's spy. But I didn't say anything. Red roses, they also touched my heart. That night, I slept fitfully, vaguely seeing a figure sitting by the bed. I thought I must be so weak I was hallucinating. Or perhaps a deceased relative had come to take me. Until that person took my hand. "David, it's my fault." It was Taylor. Her tears fell, warm like the temperature of her hand. A person who was originally so cold. Yet their warmth was so searing. I closed my eyes and said softly, "Get out, I'm tired. Sleep is more important." But she still came every night, sitting at the head of the bed, whispering all sorts of things. "David, don't you need me anymore?" "No, I don't." "David, you've become so thin, being sick like this. Can you forgive me? I've chased everyone away. I will come home on time every day from now on. And tell you, I love you, every day." Just like before. My nose stung. I opened my eyes to look at her. "Taylor, do you know I'm always soft-hearted? So you test me again and again?" She was silent. "David, it's my fault." "Fault for what?" "Ha ha ha. It's just that you got bored. So you looked for someone new. It's just that the person who was always by your side suddenly disappeared. And you feel uneasy. And now that you know that person is about to die, you feel guilty. It's not me, it's Taylor." She was still like the 18-year-old girl. Tears dripping. Lips trembling. Still the same look when she cried. "Taylor, you stopped loving me a long time ago. Don't lie to yourself." I tried to sit up, and continued. "Even if I recover now and follow you home, you'll get bored soon enough. You always like the feeling of novelty. Living together for 5 years, 10 years, and then you forget everything. And more young people step into your life." "No, I won't." Her voice was so small I pretended not to hear it. "And you'll still bring them in front of me, asking if I want a divorce. Saying that if I don't agree, you'll leave. Saying that when I'm sad, you'll abandon me to find someone else for comfort. Saying that if you get sick, I'll turn into the bad guy again, criticized by everyone." "David, you..." I interrupted Taylor. "It's okay, really, it's fine. I never wanted to tie you down. It's just, I was afraid you couldn't see your own heart clearly. Why can you turn the feeling of guilt into love?" Taylor buried her face, crying, like an abandoned kitten. She rushed forward, hugging me, her tears soaking my shirt. She cried repeatedly, "I love you, David. I truly love you." I smiled faintly. Liar. I once saw the way she looked when she genuinely loved me. Was she trying to trick me again? I looked up and thought, I will never cry for Taylor again. Not a single drop. My time being conscious is running out. Every time I open my eyes, there is a bouquet of blue lily of the valley on the bedside table. I no longer forbid Taylor from entering the room. But I also don't look at her once. Nurse Selena came to give me an injection. Secretly wiping away tears, I felt apologetic, thinking I was truly sorry to this girl who was too young. Only an intern, yet having to face life and death. I held Selena's hand. "I have a gift for you." "What gift?" "I'll tell you only if you don't cry." "I'm not crying." I smiled. "This gift, you'll only know about it after I die." Taylor helped me wipe my body. I didn't resist. Just looked at her and said, "You look like you've gotten ugly." Taylor awkwardly let go of my hand. "Then where do you think I'm ugly? I'll go get it fixed." I shook my head. "Don't. Even if you fix it, you can't go back to 18 anymore. I still prefer the clean, pure girl from those days." Taylor forced a smile, gently tucking the blanket over me. "David, you don't like me anymore. Because I'm not that 18-year-old girl anymore, right?" I was genuinely curious. But she didn't answer. She turned her back. her shoulders trembling violently as if she was about to faint. Taylor cried for a very long time. That night, she held my IV tube, gently stroked my face. David, you are still so handsome. Always the most handsome. Liar. If you truly loved me, why did you love someone else? I didn't answer, just turned my back. And fell asleep. After the nth time of begging Selena for more painkillers. The weather finally warmed up a little after a heavy snow. Peter brought fruit to visit. I asked him, "Can you take me outside for a walk? It looks beautiful out there." Peter looked around. "Where is Taylor?" I told her to go buy flowers. Peter smiled, still putting an extra thick coat on me. Then pushed the wheelchair out. As we passed the nurse's station, I saw Selena. Smiled and waved hello. But she lowered her head and cried. I told Peter to go get another coat, and sat waiting. "We haven't finished the TV series yet," Selena said with red eyes. "It's funny. 300 episodes, and I've watched 298 with you." "Well, there are still 2 episodes left. You said you want me to keep watching. The rest, you have to watch alone." "Yes," I smiled. "I have to go to a new world, after all." I knew this was a flash of life before death. The body only flares up before shutting down completely. Selena wanted to say something. I waved my hand. "Selena, you absolutely must live happily. A good girl like you must live a good life. And welcome bright summers." Peter pushed me downstairs. I told him to stop in a sunny spot. "Is this the sun of early spring?" I asked lazily. "Tell Taylor that I'm waiting for her here." Peter paused, bent down to ask if I wanted a drink. I smiled. "It's okay, it's completely fine. Is Alice getting married soon?" Peter softly said, "Yes." "What do you think about that?" His voice was very small, as if carried away by the wind. "I don't know," he replied. Then, a long silence. "Peter Parker," I called softly, using the intimate name from the old days. Peter subtly trembled, his eyes red-rimmed. "Peter Parker, do you remember our dreams from school?" He gave a forced laugh. "We wanted to be bartenders. We loved drinking then. Wished to mix the best kind, so everyone who drank it would feel happy. Such simple dreams." Peter was raised by his father alone. Similar people often find each other for warmth. We were like that too. The cold winter snow will eventually melt under the warm sunlight. Taylor was the brightest light of my life. David, David. I turned my head, seeing Taylor holding a bouquet of blue roses, standing by the window calling my name. She was hurried, half her body leaning out. I looked at her from afar. "This is enough. Just this once. Let's go," Peter said, intending to push the chair away. I raised my hand to stop him, smiling faintly. "Peter Parker, this is punishment for you secretly informing Taylor. Only you are allowed to send me off." Peter's tears flowed. I reached out to wipe them away. "Peter, look. If I have to say the thing I want to see the most, it's this scene." I pointed towards Taylor, and said quietly. "She still cares. Still looks after me. Still worries. As long as she can't find me, she'll panic and burst into tears. From the first time I met Taylor to today, it is exactly half of my life." I leaned back, finding a more comfortable position. Half a life, it's long. The good things, and the cruel things, all came from her. The most genuine emotions, the most venomous words, and the hardest affection to let go of. It's all Taylor. I closed my eyes. My voice choked up. "Peter Parker, why did we both fall for the same woman? The initial dreams, the simple wishes, the easily achievable joys. Why were they all forgotten?" I reached out, grasping his wrist, and whispered, "Peter, you also once hoped we lived in a fairy tale world, where if we encountered difficulties, someone would appear to save us. But it can't be, Peter. It can't be." My tears fell, shattering in my palm. "Peter, who can save us? No one. Only we can save ourselves. Peter, I hope you are happy. In fact, you are inherently the person who deserves happiness the most. We should have both had that happiness." Peter trembled, tears incessantly falling onto my hand. He choked out repeatedly, "David, don't go. David, don't go." We have been too accustomed to being adults. It has been a long time since we spoke such childish words. On the path to growing up, the greatest taboo is speaking the innocent phrases of childhood. But on the boundary between life and death, everything can be forgiven. I watched Peter cry, yet lacked the strength to wipe away those tears. Peter, go do what you truly want to do. Whatever it is. I only hope you live true to your heart. Even if that means staying with Alice. Embracing a fruitless love. You must live happily. Be happy for me. David, wake up. Is there anything you want to say to Taylor? Peter's choked voice was in my ear. My consciousness began to fade. As if my soul was being drawn out bit by bit. I could only stiffly shake my head. Say what? When in love, I said enough sweet words. When being loved, I said enough words to hold her back. When my heart turned cold, I also said too many cruel words. What do I have left to say to her now? In this whole life, everything that needed to be said to Taylor, I've already said. It turns out that even at the very end, we had no words left for each other. I smiled faintly at Peter. Peter Parker, today is a beautiful sunny day. The sun is so warm. It probably won't be cold on the way to meet God. David, someone screamed. The sound of urgent footsteps rushing toward me. I looked up. Taylor, clutching a bouquet of blue roses, staggered as she ran over. She looked like she had exhausted all her strength. In that hazy moment, I suddenly seemed to see that spring again. The girl in the white and blue school uniform, gasping as she ran toward me. Her hands tightly holding a bouquet of wildflowers hastily picked by the roadside. She blushed, but looked straight into my eyes, and said, David, will you be my boyfriend? I promise, I will truly be good to you. I only smiled, took the bouquet, and said, yes. You said yes. You can't break your promise. Taylor, it was you who broke the promise. The tear that I swore I would never shed again silently slid down the corner of my eye. Spring returned to the world. And I slept forever. Taylor's afterward. David, don't you want to see me? The tombstone did not reply. The person in the photo was still smiling. And I suddenly missed the sight of a living David scolding me. Missed even the sight of him holding a bat, smashing the entire house just out of anger. Now, it can no longer happen. You are truly cruel. You didn't leave a single word. Didn't grant me a final meeting. Leaving only this grave marker, which you had purchased in advance yourself. Nurse Selena cried tragically. She said she would never watch those last 2 episodes of the show. The girl who once promised to watch until the end with David now cried until her eyes were swollen. I gently stroked the large bouquet of roses in my hand, and said, the money you gave her. She has donated it all. You always judged people accurately. Selena is truly a good girl. She said that her profession is to save people. So that money should go to those who need it more. Except for love. You saw everything else clearly. Peter and Alice have broken up. She is also not married anymore. Sitting every day in front of the small shop Peter once bought for her. Peter hasn't come to find her. It must be because you instructed him not to, right? David, why won't you visit me even in a dream? I reached out to touch your cold photo. It must be so. It is all my fault. I opened a bottle of wine, looked up and said quietly, David, I blame myself too. At first, it was just a feeling of novelty. But I walked so far, I couldn't find my way back. David, I never wanted a divorce. Truly, not at all. I just thought, you would never leave. You would always be behind me. As long as I turned around, you would still be there. But you really left. It's because I was too greedy. David, you won't believe anything I say anymore. It's okay, if you won't come to see me. Then I will go see you. I almost forgot. My greatest wish in life was just to have a home with you. David, after you left, I truly have no one else. You must find me so ridiculous. I find myself ridiculous too. Why did I have to wait until today? To understand what I truly wanted? You probably think Peter told me where you were, right? He didn't. I went looking for you. David, I went looking for you alone. I looked for you for a very long time. You weren't at home, nor at the company. I was panicked and distraught. I couldn't find you. Then, when I finally found you, you were lying in the hospital. I'd rather you scold me, deceive me, hit me, than for you to genuinely fall ill like that. I wiped away my tears then, thinking to myself, if you saw me, you would surely scold me. Scold me for being troublesome and weak. Taylor thought for a moment and then said, our house. I bought it back. That is where all our memories are kept. How could I sell it to someone else? And the small shop behind the school that you liked the most. I also reclaimed it. From now on, I will be the one looking after it. You will surely scold me again. Don't you have anything better to do? It's okay. I would even want to hear you scold me in my dreams. Suddenly, Taylor remembered she still had the sweet pastry Peter made in her bag. She quickly took it out, arranging it neatly in front of the grave. Peter instructed me to definitely bring this to you. I almost forgot. He said this was the first batch of pastry he made with his own hands, and that it had to be for you. Try it and see if it's good, okay? If it's awful, then haunt his dreams and scold him. David, I miss you so much. Can you come to me in my dreams? I know, you probably don't want to. So be it. I will come to find you. Later, Peter thought for a long time. Then decided to bury Taylor's ashes next to David. It's getting cold, let's go home early. Alice stood next to Peter under an umbrella, and said softly, I always thought Taylor would go down there peacefully on her own. Alice lowered her head, her voice sad. The memories are too heavy. She couldn't let go. Then why did in the first place? Peter asked. Because then, we didn't see clearly. Peter pulled his coat tighter, and turned to walk away. Shall I take you back to the shop? Alice shook her head, pointing toward the figure standing under the tree. No need. My husband is waiting for me. You should go home soon too. It's cold. With memories that heavy, who could let go? The face gradually blurred in the rain. When you can no longer see clearly, then consider it a necessary loss.